The Sun Temple just got another round of changes, but before we take a look at that, let's go ahead and first recap what happened in the last update. In update 45, the secondary attacks that you get in the primary category was buffed by quite a lot, and the same thing goes for the magic category except for the minis and avatars, which was left alone. All of the secondary attacks in the military category were left as is, and they also reduced the pierce that you gain from primary and military. In this update, however, the extra damage that you used to gain to the main attack has now been moved from primary to military, and the extra pierce that you used to gain from the primary and military sacrifice has now all been moved to magic. On top of that, the increased projectile size that used to come from military now resides in the magic category, but the projectile speed is still in military. And lastly, they also switched up where these changes take place, so that the first bonus adds a secondary attack, and then the second bonus improves of the power, and then third bonus adds another secondary attack, and so on. They also gave some thoughts as to what's going to happen to the temple in the future, but I'll discuss that a bit later. So the first question on everybody's mind is probably, how big are these changes, and will it actually change the sacrifices that I should give to the temple? And the answer to that seems to be no. As far as I can see, every situation seems to be about the same. Whether you are in a situation where you only have one temple or multiple, it seems that the best sacrifices to go for, if you are having a temple with max sacrifices, seems to all be the same. But Ninja Kiwi has said that this is only change number 2 out of 3 for the temple, so whenever the last one comes out, we'll have to take a look at that once again. In this video, I want to take a look at how these changes so far has impacted the temple by playing a game of Chimps, where I'm gonna go ahead and get a max sacrifice temple and see how long that can actually last. So the sacrifices I'm gonna be going for is going to be primary, magic, and support, because those are still the best if you only have one temple. And I'm thinking I'm gonna turn this druid into a superstorm for some awesome stalling, which is gonna cost me probably close to 70k, so I'm gonna be over sacrificing in that category, but as long as I can get to the temple, it doesn't really matter if I'm over sacrificing, because I'm not gonna get anything other than the temple really after that. I also really want to get the temple on the water here, not because I'm looking to buff it with any water towers, but just to have it in the center, so we're gonna have to get an ice monkey to freeze this up. In terms of the other categories, I'm probably looking at getting a carpet of spikes, because that is not really over sacrificing much and would be really good on a map like this. As for a primary, as I said, I have to get an ice monkey to freeze the water, and I'm also gonna get the sun avatar right here in the center, so maybe getting a super brittle would be good, because that is pretty good for the carpet of spikes and the sun avatar. Let's go ahead and get the spike factory down for the camo bloons that are about to come. Does anyone remember that in a video about 2 months ago, like in the middle of it, maybe some of you didn't see it, I teased that I have a huge project in the making that's been going on for quite some time that's actually unrelated to bloons, that I said was going to be released in like 2 weeks time, but it's now been 2 months. I actually got a comment on that video just the other day asking like, hey, what the hell happened to this? But I'm happy to announce that it's just around the corner now. I'm not going to reveal anything other than that it is unrelated to BTD6, so it's not one of those super late game videos. It's something else entirely that's not BTD6, so it's going to be hit or miss. Some of you are going to love it, and some of you are probably not going to care for it at all, but I'm not going to say anything more than that. It will be announced before the end of the year at its latest. Oh, and these camo bloons are too many. I'm gonna have to upgrade this. Now let's see, surely that is enough, right? Oh wow. Pretty close, but it works. Oh, these are way too many camo bloons. Maybe I need to get... Can I go straight for the tier 5, you think? Or actually, let's go ahead and do this, since I said I was probably gonna get an Esprit anyway. It would be very nice if I could go straight for the tier 5, because that would eliminate basically everything for a good while, allowing me to save up to whatever I want next. Purples are a bit annoying for this guy, but at least these two can pop the majority of them. If not, I'll just go ahead and use an ability here. Let's see, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Play it safe. Oh crap, a bunch of camo regrowth follows? Well, okay, so I'm gonna have to hold off on using that ability a lot longer. Okay, so now we're holding off a lot longer. Yeah, this is gonna work. Use it now. There we go. And for 63, we don't even need to use an ability because this guy's actually really good against this round. And there we go. We made it. Nice. Now we can chill for a while. Now, even before I get the Sun Avatar right here, I should probably save up to the Superstorm to be safe. Because the Sun Avatar isn't really going to be doing much in comparison, and it's quite expensive to get all the way to that point. So while I'm saving up for my next tower, let's talk a bit more about what Ninja Kiwi said about this update and future updates. One thing they said is that they are considering lowering the amount of different categories that you can sacrifice to the temple from 3 down to 2. And to compensate for all the damage that you would lose from that, they would make it so that you can invest more than 50,000 per category, so that overall it would be about the same amount of damage. They also said that since they have buffed some of the secondary attacks of primary, that category is now sort of focused on close range damage in terms of the secondary attacks, and they're thinking about doubling down on the military category as a long range damage sacrifice, and magic being somewhere in between. After these two updates, the magic sacrifice is absolutely bonkers, because not only did it get its secondary attacks buffed, but it also got all of the pierce increases from primary and military, and it also got the projectile size from military. So magic is just absolutely bonkers right now. The primary category was buffed a lot in the last update, but in this one obviously it lost the pierce and also the damage, so it got nerfed quite a bit, but it's still better than the military sacrifice. That category has been lacking forever, so you're probably going to see some big changes to that particular one in the next update. Reducing the amount of categories that you can sacrifice from 3 to 2 would certainly make it a much more strategic choice that you need to make. And as long as we get to keep the same amount of damage as they would increase the amount that you could sacrifice, I guess that would be fine, but let me know what you think about that in the comments. If they were to actually go through with that, it's not set in stone yet, not at all, but if they do that, I wonder what's going to happen with the TSG. Like, is that one still going to be able to sacrifice 4 categories, or is that going to be reduced as well, down to 3 or even 2? I don't know, it wasn't something that they speculated on in the update notes, so everything still remains to be seen. Now, I haven't actually done a lot of sandbox testing to make sure that this setup actually gets me all the way to the temple, so I sure hope it does. Wait, is this round actually too dense? No way. Okay, well, I said I was gonna get an ice here anyway, so maybe I even wanna, yeah, let's do this. So there we go. That should take care of this round at least. And I mean, at this point we do have a bunch of cash, so let's go ahead and place our super down and get this and these two. Man, this round was like, whoa, no way. Okay, so instead of getting that, I'm gonna go ahead and get S-Brit. Surely I don't die to 111. Nah, I think this is looking a lot better this time around. Yeah, for sure. So now we have all the sacrifices we need. We actually over-sacrificed quite a bunch, not only in the magic category, but also in primary. But that's probably fine. I think we should have enough money around 140. I hope it's prior to 140, but we might be able to pass around 40 with this setup even, if we're lucky. Wait a minute, I'm only 8 rounds away and I'm missing 50k. I may have done a miscalculation. Okay, let's see if this can actually handle 138 or not. Yeah, come on, let me get the ice ability up once more. Okay, then I'll just go ahead and do this then. Wow, okay, even that doesn't work. Jesus Christ. Well. Oh wow, look at this. I managed to pass the round and I made it all the way to 140 with 119k in cash. Totally didn't cheat my ass off. Don't pay any attention to Geraldo mysteriously disappearing. So let's go ahead and get this now. And also a village just for camo, nothing else. Now let's see how far this can go. The Sun Avatars hasn't had time to spawn yet, like at the beginning of the round, so... Man, I really hope I don't die to this. Well, thanks for watching, I guess. The video is about sun temples, and you got to see about 5 seconds worth of it. Well, that's my job done for the day. So a fortified bad is simply too much, even for a max sacrifice temple, but if we skip ahead one round, then all of a sudden it can handle most bloons. So I'll finish with some thoughts that I have about the temple, being that so far everything seems fine, except of course right now magic is super OP and military is very bad, as it's always been. I personally wouldn't mind at least trying to see what happens if you reduce the amount of sacrifices down to 2, but increase the amount that you can sacrifice. But the thing that I'm probably the most excited about is seeing the military category actually be brought up so that it's actually useful. Because right now it really isn't, and it would be fun if the temple had some more strategic choices to it, so you really had to think about what sacrifices you get, and different sacrifices would be good in different situations. So whatever happens really, I'll be excited to try it out, and eventually we will have a fully reworked temple. Anyway, let me know what all of you guys think about all the changes that is currently happening to the temple in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.